It looks like they're back at their business trying to take over the Strait. What's your response?
Well, we're taking over the Strait. They have nothing.
Accordingly, it is hereby announced that, following previous warnings, we will under no circumstances allow the United States to interfere in the management of the Strait of Hormuz, and we will not allow it to do so.
Has Iran just dropped its most terrifying warning yet to Donald Trump over the Strait of Hormuz, threatening consequences that could shake global shipping and oil markets to their core? What Iran has just promised will happen if the United States tries to touch the Strait of Hormuz is deadly serious, going beyond rhetoric to lay out specific military consequences for any interference. Is the explosive showdown over the Strait of Hormuz now threatening to collapse the world economy, with nearly a fifth of global oil supply hanging in the balance of this confrontation? Iran has now issued what it is calling a final warning, declaring in unambiguous terms, "We will not allow the United States to interfere in the management of the Strait of Hormuz under any circumstances."
The repeated adventurism and hostile actions by the United States to interfere in the management of the Strait of Hormuz have seriously endangered regional security, international trade, and the passage of oil tankers and commercial vessels. And unfortunately, the cooperation of some countries in the region has also increased the risk of the war spreading throughout the region. Accordingly, it is hereby announced that, following previous warnings, we will under no circumstances allow the United States to interfere in the management of the Strait of Hormuz, and we will not allow it to do so. The armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran will deal forcefully with any disruption to the passage of commercial vessels and oil tankers by the invading and pirate U.S. military outside the route designated by Iran, and without the permission of the armed forces. And the powerful actions of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and the Iranian army in recent days are evidence of this claim. The leaders of the countries in the region are warned that any cooperation with the United States and any logistical support for that country's invading military will be regarded as war against Iran's sovereignty and national security. And if the war spreads across the region, the flames of war will engulf all the countries of the region. Responsibility for all insecurity and expansion of the war in the region lies with the United States and the countries that cooperate with that country's criminal military.
Even as Iran issues its starkest warning, is Donald Trump now laying out a controversial plan for Hormuz that could spark global chaos and push both sides past the point of no return? Calling Iran a bad group of people, is Trump now using raw and combative language to announce American intentions over Hormuz, setting up the most direct clash yet over who controls the waterway? Has Donald Trump just said out loud that America should effectively own the Strait of Hormuz, a claim that would append decades of international maritime law and ignite every country that depends on those waters?
It looks like they're back at their business trying to take over the Strait. What's your response?
Well, we're taking over the Strait. They have nothing. But we had a deal. What nobody knows, we had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people. And so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're going to keep the Strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the Strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the Strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side. And we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years. You know, we guarded the Strait for 50 years more, and we never got paid for it. They made all the money, and the United States was just, they wouldn't. It's amazing. We never made. We guarded it for nothing, and now we're going to guard it. We're going to get paid for guarding it. A lot of money. They're a bad group of people. Let me just tell you that. I don't say that often, and I have to live with that statement. They're a bad group of people. They've been this way for a long time, and right now they're getting their ass kicked.
All of this is unfolding amid the fresh and military escalation between the United States and Iran, where every statement and every strike is pulling both sides deeper into open war. Iran on July 13 warned neighboring states that their territory must not be used as a launchpad for U.S. military attacks. Tehran cautioned that any country serving as the origin of an assault could itself be targeted in retaliatory strikes. Iran's foreign ministry denounced the latest U.S. attacks, calling them clear violations of the UN Charter. The Iranian government further accused Washington of breaching the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding. Not just Kuwait and Bahrain, Mujtaba is now unleashing missile fury on Jordan as Iran widens its strikes on U.S. bases in the region. Iran says it has struck U.S. positions in Jordan, claiming Muwafaq Salti Air Base was among the key targets hit. A U.S. base hosting F-15s and F-35s has reportedly come under Iranian ballistic missile fire in the latest round of escalation. Fuel tanks and an ammunition dump at Jordan's Prince Hassan Air Base were reportedly set ablaze in Iran's retaliatory barrage. The IRGC claims a critical FPS strategic radar system at Ahmed al-Jabba base has been knocked out of action. Iran says its missiles have struck a Patriot air defense battery at the U.S. base in Ali Salem, Kuwait. The IRGC boasts that a U.S. drone command center was crushed in its strike on American facilities in Bahrain. Iran claims it has hit a helicopter maintenance hub and a P-8 hangar in Bahrain, escalating its message to Washington. IRGC statement said, and I quote, "Heroic nation of Iran, your steadfast steps, 135 days and nights of presence on the stage an unprecedented funeral in history, which you and the noble nation of Iraq have made, have surprised the world, encouraged the fighters of Islam, and confused and terrified the great Satan, and he is taking every measure to compensate for this great defeat. Last night, following the operations of the IRGC Navy in stopping 2 offending ships, which had endangered shipping in the Strait of Hormuz by turning off their systems and moving on an illegal route, the U.S. child-killing army, which was the driver of these illegal and dangerous movements, once again revealed its brutality by invading the coastal bases of the armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Zealous fighters of Islam, in the first stage of response to these aggressions, set fire to several large rocket warehouses and fuel tanks of Prince Hassan Air Base in Jordan with rockets and drones. The evil and war-loving regime of America, which has spent a few times without war and military evil since its establishment, and has not learned from the recent failures in facing the fighters of Islam, and continues its aggression. In response to these evils, in the second stage of their countermeasures, the IRGC's aerospace fighters smashed the important helicopter maintenance and repair centers, the hangar of the P-8 electronic warfare aircraft, and the command and control center of the American child-killing army drones at the American base in Sheikh Isa, Bahrain. We bring to the attention of the honorable people of Iran, the proud fighters of the IRGC Aerospace Force, in the third stage of the retaliatory operation and response to the aggression of the arrogant and aggressive American regime, completely destroyed the fuel tanks and the Patriot air defense system at the American base in Ali Salem, Kuwait, as well as an FPS strategic radar system at the Ahmed al-Jabba base. Strait of Hormuz is our land, and we will not allow a rebel and child-killing army from the other side of the world to continue its illegal interference in it." Unquote. The IRGC is vowing that its retaliation will continue, warning of more attacks to answer what it calls U.S. aggression. Iran launches a new wave of missiles and drones targeting U.S. military positions across the Middle East, according to Iranian state-linked media. State-linked Iranian outlets report massive retaliatory strikes against U.S. military bases following the latest American attacks. Tehran claims U.S. military bases and naval assets across the region are now under coordinated Iranian attack. Explosions are reported near a U.S. military base in Bahrain, with the Interior Ministry confirming security incidents. Reports claim direct impacts near the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain during the latest Iranian operation. Ballistic missiles were reportedly launched from western and central Iran as part of the new wave of attacks. Bahrain activates air raid sirens shortly after Iran launches its latest missile and drone barrage. The Gulf braces for another dangerous escalation as the U.S.-Iran military confrontation continues to intensify. The latest Iranian operation comes after Washington expanded its military strikes across multiple locations inside Iran. U.S. forces expand their military campaign as fresh strikes reportedly hit targets across southern and western Iran. A new wave of attacks is reported across more than a dozen Iranian cities, according to local media reports. Qeshm, Bandar Abbas, Bushehr, Avaz, and Abadan are among the locations reportedly targeted in the latest strikes. Iran International said, and I quote, Escalation News Telegram channel reported that the latest wave of attacks targeted a wider range of locations across southern and western Iran than previous strikes. According to the report, the targeted areas include Keshem, Sirik, Bandar Abbas, Jast, Bushehr, Kondab, Bandar Mahahar, Baybahan, Andameshk, Desful, Avaz, Abadan and Khorramshahr. The report could not be independently verified, and neither US nor Iranian authorities have immediately confirmed the full scope of the reported attacks. Unquote. After Iran's retaliatory attacks, the US rejects reports claiming American troops were killed in Kuwait. The latest US strikes appear significantly broader in scope than previous waves of attacks, according to emerging reports. A direct US-Iran military confrontation continues to unfold around the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM says the strikes are intended to degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command said, and I quote, "At 5 p.m. ET today, U.S. Central Command forces began launching more strikes against Iran to continue degrading their ability to attack civilian mariners and commercial ships freely transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The Commander-in-Chief has directed the strikes to hold Iranian forces accountable." Unquote. CNN reports Iran launched missiles and drones following attacks linked to global shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. warplanes reportedly intercepted an Iranian cruise missile and shot down an attack drone during the latest escalation.